Salam alaikum. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on episode 2 of AfghanSafar. We have a very special guest with us today. Uh, she is live from Afghanistan, from Kabul. As we said, we have some initiatives to discuss, and this is part 1 of that initiative. Salam, welcome to AfghanSafar.
Hello, everyone, and I hope you're all doing well. And I'm very glad to be with you tonight with the new podcast of AfghanSafar. And I hope that will be enjoyable for everyone.
Thank you. I really hope, and I am for sure. Like it's one of the most important things that people hear the voices from Afghanistan and voices, especially from women, because we hear a lot of things coming out of Afghanistan. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Do you mind introducing yourself? Give us a brief background.
Well, you have already mentioned my name. This is me, of course, aka Daniel as well, because of some security actions. Sometimes I use my second name as well. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
People around me generally call me, and I'm busy teaching some online classes as well as some in-person classes in Kabul, Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
Due to some privacy, I cannot mention the names, but of course,
Mm-hmm.
I am busy with those stuff and the online teaching programs. As well
Mm-hmm.
as English, I have the privilege of teaching computer basics as well since 2020. But I have formally dived into this field when the
Sorry,
regime,
sorry.
since 2020. So I have been teaching English and computer basics both. But
Mm-hmm.
formally, I started teaching when the regime changed and Taliban took over Afghanistan. And that was the only way that I could think of at that time to
Mm-hmm.
help my Afghan girls somehow. And the first mission was not only teaching them language or computer, but uh, this way could help me to spread that motivation and help
Mm-hmm.
them to not to like lose their hope, because everyone at that
True.
time was thinking about leaving the country, and I think I
Mm-hmm.
was the one who just wanted to stay and fight through those struggles. The story's a
Yeah.
lot, but yeah.
It's all right. Take your time.
So do you want me to like expand it more?
No, it's I mean it's totally up to you because this is a non-formal conversation. All right. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So this is interesting. So you've been staying in Kabul, you've been helping out the community, and you
Mhm.
said you teach computer basics and English language. So how does that affect, like, are you still able to like work openly? Do you have classes like normal like before?
Yes, it's still allowed, but with many restrictions that we should take care of. For example, our outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone
Mm-hmm.
should wear hijab, especially we should wear mask.
Mm-hmm.
And our classes should be separated. We're not allowed to have mixed
Okay.
classes for female and males.
Mm-hmm.
We have separated buildings for each of them. And of course, there are some treatings and warnings that we're receiving every month or maybe every
Mm-hmm.
week. The government is coming and checking on us. But still,
Okay.
we're just continuing because we're just used to the situation and we don't have any other
Yeah.
solution except like going this
Mm-hmm.
way. And whenever the situation like becomes dire, we consider online classes instead of like person classes, and the
Yeah.
students adapt themselves to continue their studies for a while in an online base. But that cannot be permanent because uh, there are another concerns that pops up there. For example, internet
Mm-hmm.
connections, facilities that most
Yeah.
people don't have in Afghanistan. That's why they
Mm-hmm.
prefer in-person classes, and we are using the most of those things that we have, the most of those facilities that we have, just to make a safe environment and rooms for them to come and study in person. Although, like, the situation is not predictable. Like, every day we're
Yeah.
facing many problems and struggles, but still,
Mm-hmm.
that has become a normal thing for us, and there's no surprise. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could possibly imagine because like I remember back in 2021 things were completely different. Like you
Mhm.
can openly go meet friends, you could chill, like there was no scrutiny that what about what you are wearing or where you're going. Like it was still fairly liberal. You would see mixed classes, in-person classes were was on the norm basically everywhere. There was no remote stuff. But one of the things that comes up a lot now is that women can't work openly or in public, or they can't speak up in public because of the new virtue law that they released, which is kind of disappointing for us sitting outside the country. But we don't know how does that impact you and other students or other women.
Well, to be honest, there are some misconceptions as well. For
Mm-hmm.
example, the things that social media or media is showing, they're
Mm-hmm.
definitely exaggerating. Afghanistan
Mm-hmm.
is not the same as they're showing and showcasing. Definitely,
Mm-hmm.
when you come and see the situation from your
Mm-hmm.
like from your own lens, that's way different. I can
Mm-hmm.
recall the time that I migrated to Iran, and I was just sitting and watching the news, and I thought
Mm-hmm.
that the situation is very hard, that women cannot go out of their homes without a mahram. A mahram is,
Mm-hmm.
of course, a husband or a father or a brother.
Yeah.
But when I entered Kabul and when I arrived Kabul, I saw that no, man, that's way different. We can still like roam
Mm-hmm.
on the streets. We can still like walk on the street, and there's no restriction.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that
Mm-hmm.
the government wants and require is that just wearing hijab, and I think that's their right because after all, Afghanistan is an Islamic country.
Of course.
But that's not like too much serious the way that media
Mm-hmm.
is showing.
Mm-hmm.
Still, women can work in some places, in some specific places. For example, the teachers for some institutes that girls are studying
Yeah.
should be female. And the doctors and
Mm-hmm.
hospitals should be female for like female wards.
Okay.
And as well as that, for some other staff that only female can work, we still have those workers as females. But yes,
Mm-hmm.
there's some like basic rights that have been removed, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we can see a bright future that they allow us to
Inshallah.
continue those things as well.
Of
For example,
course.
like education, universities. But there are some other alternatives as well. The institutes are
Mm-hmm.
open, uh,
Okay.
especially Afghan girls are pursuing midwifery in these 3 years. They can still
Wow.
study in that field. Yeah, stomatology, that's another field that they can study in institutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not like a university that people study
Mm-hmm.
for 4 years, but they can study in 2 years. And of course, they can
Mm-hmm.
like get familiar to some basic things of that field. And as well as that, some like language centers, like the places that I'm
Yeah.
working with, are still open. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
with some conditions that we should consider.
Okay. And so I know you shed some light into how the situation is today, but let's talk about your journey from past to present. What do you think? What has changed? What do you miss most? What are some of the things that you want to share with us that stands out to you in terms of like your life, personal stories, personal experiences?
Well, as an Afghan who has grown up in Afghanistan, and of course, I I have grown up in Kabul, and I started school here. I graduated from school, And
Mhm.
during this time, I have been to many countries as well. And comparing to those countries, I realized
Mhm.
that nowhere can be our own homeland. One's homeland is
Exactly. Mm.
specifically and particularly their home where they feel safe. Uh,
Yeah.
and everyone can understand this. Everyone can understand our feelings. Um,
Mhm.
Unfortunately, when I migrated to Iran, I can recall the bad scenarios of my life that it's very hard to recall them back, but we should recall them sometimes just to give another lesson for
Mhm.
those who are just not thankful to this situation. Um, I could
Yeah.
recall those misconceptions that you were facing on your comments, and I had seen and
Mhm.
heard them back in Iran. Um, I can recall the time that I
Mhm.
used to teach the manager of the our building, our apartment. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, his wife and his son, who was about like 10 years old. Um, I was
Mhm.
teaching them the language from basic because there was no language center in Iran, like
Mhm.
the way that we have in Afghanistan. There were not a lot.
You
And
mean
one day we were
English language
sitting,
center? Sorry, we lost you there
yeah,
for a second. Did you?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, English
yeah.
language. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're not valuing the language. They're just into their own literature. So you rarely can
Fair
find
enough.
language literature there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one day we were sitting and she offered me tea,
Mm-hmm.
and the decision was just ended. And she asked me, well, where are you from? It was, I think, our third session. And I
Yeah.
said, I'm from Afghanistan. And she said, hell no. Are you kidding? And I was like, no, I'm serious. I'm from Afghanistan. And she thought that we have come from another country like Europe. And I said, no, we're from Afghanistan. We have come here
Mm-hmm.
for some document processes and those stuff. Like, and
Yeah.
she said that I have never seen such Afghan like you guys, like your family. You're just wearing different outfits. You have a different tone in language.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were a child, our parents were not
Mm.
allowing us to go outside, and they were telling us, don't go because Afghans will kidnap you. There was another
Oh my
misconception
God.
that was very disheartening for me. And she asked me a
Yeah.
question, but previously, like, she asked for the permission, and I said, yeah, there's no problem. You can ask
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want. And
Yeah.
she asked, do, do you guys have vehicles in Afghanistan? Uh, and I just stared at her for some seconds,
That's
and I had some pictures on
that's
my
such a
phone from my
basic
daddy's
question.
cars. We had a Land Cruiser at that
Yeah.
time, classic Benz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just showed her those pictures. And on the back of our cars, it was our last name was written. And I showed
Yeah.
her. I just said,
Yeah.
look, these were our own cars that we had in Afghanistan, but you
Mm-hmm.
guys, this is like totally a luxury thing for you because if you know in Iran,
Mm-hmm.
everyone is using their own products like Pride and Peugeot with
Yeah.
those names. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yeah,
next day,
I think they have been constantly going under embargo. So
yeah,
yeah, it makes sense. Wow. Um, I know there is like there's always like these misconceptions around like how the Afghans are, and like a lot of people they fail to recognize that how diverse this country is, how or what kind of people you could possibly meet if you actually start having a conversation with an Afghan and they start telling you like it's not about hearsay, it's about personal experiences. Let's sit down, let's have a chat. Wow,
yes.
this is so interesting. So, okay, so between Iran and then back to Kabul, what made you decide that okay, I want to pursue teaching or I want to work with women? Was it just because like you saw things weren't looking very bright for the women of
Just
our
to,
country or
just to make it more clear,
mm-hmm.
I graduated from a school just 3 months before Taliban took over Afghanistan, and I was
Mm-hmm.
totally naive in
Yeah.
in in everything, in business, in workplace, and everything. And then
Yeah.
I thought that what can I do now? I remember the day that the government collapsed, and everyone was calling
Mm-hmm.
me saying that
Mm-hmm.
this is the end of the line. We are not going to do anything. We will be die. Uh, and I was
Yeah.
just laughing at them and saying that nothing will
Mm-hmm.
happen. Why are you taking it serious? It's the beginning. And I was just staring through the window and watching Taliban using those
Mm-hmm.
vehicles, tanks, like kids that are
Yeah.
new to those vehicles. And I was just
Yeah.
laughing at them and like whispering to myself how kind and
Mm-hmm.
how innocent these guys are. They were like totally like behaving like kids. And after
Yeah.
a week, after a week, I remember it was a rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
I went for a walk, and then I stopped in front of an educational course, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to enter in. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to take a class just to practice my English, because
Yeah.
staying at home, well, I thought it would affect my English. So I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have some partners to speak with.
Mm-hmm.
And I entered the office and they took a test
Mm-hmm.
from me. And after
Yeah.
taking the test, they told me that, do you want to teach here? And I said, no, I have come for studying. And they said that, no, you can be an assistant here for some months and then you can teach
Yeah.
yourself. And yeah, I started my journey there. And then that encouraged me to be more confident and
Yeah.
send my CVs out to some other places nearby.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I was just teaching at that educational course, and then I was doing
Mm-hmm.
the managing stuff in another educational course nearby, so close to your
Yeah.
house. And as well as that, uh, I I had the privilege to start my third class in a
Mm-hmm.
university, in a very well-renowned university in Darlaman. That's
Mm-hmm.
also nearby. And the journey
Okay.
began, and the first mission was just to interact with people, chat with them, and give them this feeling that nothing is over, nothing's finished. Still, the marathon is about to begin, and we
True.
should stay. We should do
Mm-hmm.
something. As a society, everyone is a piece of puzzle that create and makes this puzzle. So without
Mm-hmm.
any other like piece, that puzzle will be
Mm-hmm.
incomplete. And unfortunately, in 2021, we will be a witness to many illiterate people, many advanced
Mm-hmm.
people who left Afghanistan, and
Mm-hmm.
we really needed to those people. Like we really need
Mm-hmm.
them right now as well. But I just
Of
wanted
course.
to spread this mission. I wanted to spread this motivation and build up on their
Mm-hmm.
hope that they this is not the finishing line.
Yeah.
Still, there are a lot to do. And by interacting and chatting with those, especially the women, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to give them this hope that nothing is over. You can still study, you can still
Mm-hmm.
find ways. If even the door are closed, you can jump from the window,
Yeah.
and that's really possible.
I mean, to be honest, like, we've always heard of these stories, like, and we touched on it in our episode one as well, that education or literacy is one of the major issues that Afghans face in general. It has been the case, historically. They have tried to uh, either take away those voices that speak for women, for education. I mean, education is for all. But the problem is that, from my personal experience, like from how we saw it in the past, was not only women, but even men, they were not interested in education as well. Some of them were like, it's not going to pay off. Like, I would much rather go learn a skill, which was the case in most of the households as well. Like parents just asking their children, like, what will happen when you get educated? You still have to work, so why not just learn a skill, and then the skill will pay off. Um, what was the situation for you when you were growing up when it came to schooling and education? What was different?
Well, first of all, I should say that I'm thankful to my family.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they were the origin of the path that I am today, here
Mm-hmm.
in this stage. Especially my dad, who was the biggest supporter of my life, and as well as him, my mom as well. And they
Mm-hmm.
both encouraged me a lot, and they both helped me through this path and journey. And they always valued and agreed on whatever I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And for them, whenever I wanted to quit and give up,
Mm-hmm.
just by looking at them, I started to start a new journey and continue somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the journey was far more different in my case, but I have seen
Yeah.
many families when I
Mm-hmm.
was at school, my friends,
Mm-hmm.
my colleagues, even their
Mm-hmm.
families didn't agree when they were coming to school or when they wanted to
Mm-hmm.
start working. They had
Mm-hmm.
many struggles and obstacles along the way, but they overcome. And right now, I think the the graph of that scenario is ascending. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
families are just encouraging their children to study. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if I tell you another statistics from the past 3 years, we
Yeah.
had about 2,000 scholarships, and most of them were for girls. I'm studying in a
Incredible.
university
Yeah.
online,
Mm-hmm.
and in these 3 years, about like 1,200 or 300 girls had the scholarship to go to another country and pursue their higher education there. And I think this is the family's encouragement, and that today they are there and pursuing their education. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe that Afghanistan is far more different than what you heard about in the past or what you have seen in the past. And I believe, I trust
Mm-hmm.
that many of the people that are just considering and thinking about Afghanistan, they look at it as it's Afghanistan of 20 years ago or 25 years ago, which was very different from now.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I'm actually surprised to hear this because for the most part I've always thought about like if somebody wants to help Afghanistan, they have to step into the social issues. Like for example, anytime the word Afghanistan appears anywhere, the first thing that's attached to it is human rights violation. And most of it is against women. And for someone like you, uh, who's young and dynamic, who is well educated and thinking about the fellow countrymen, especially like about the future of the woman, this is this is honestly one of my favorite conversations that I'm having right now, just because it's really difficult for us to see people working for the country still, let alone a female, just because of like those different views that come out of Afghanistan, views and news. But honestly, like myself being from Afghanistan, I do not care a lot about like what I hear in the news, because for me it matters most to like hear it from the people within the country. Um, Now, I know we touched on the aspect of like you teaching, and I believe this will be a good segue into our next conversation, our initiative in collaboration with yourself. Uh, so in episode zero, we when we were introducing Afghan Safar, we spoke about a second or a branch initiative of Afghan Safar, which is called Dari Safar. Dari Safar is a joint venture with support. We've started this language institute where people can learn Dari if they want to. For all of those who are English spoken and they want to practice their Dari or just polish them skills or learn Dari, they could join us on Dari Safar. And for people, vice versa, who want to learn English, of course, this is something that is doing today. Uh, so we will be introducing both of these classes for anyone who's interested. Please reach out to us. Our handles on social media is AfghanSafar official. And if you guys want to send us an email, please do send us an email on salam@afghansafar.com and we'll get back to you. So, John, would you mind now telling us a little bit more about this collaboration? How is that going to shape the future of our youngsters, or basically how is it going to help uh, our countrymen and people who are looking to learn Dari? What do you think? What's the motive behind that, and what can we do to further support this cause?
As an instructor who has been teaching for like almost 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
I can barely say that everyone now is preferring online classes because
Mm-hmm.
even in Kabul, maybe in Afghanistan,
Mm-hmm.
because of the situation is not predictable. Every day there's
Mm-hmm.
a closure, and
Mm-hmm.
the government just closes a campus, and then the students will stay home for a while. So
Mm-hmm.
they prefer to have the classes online, and
Yeah.
it only costs a bundle and no commute, nothing, no
Mm-hmm.
worries, no stress, and they
Mm-hmm.
can be comfortably joining from their homes and
Mm-hmm.
studying. So yeah, this is another honor for me to collaborate
Yeah.
with you guys, and I
Mm-hmm.
hope to have many students worldwide who can collaborate us at the end of the way, at the end of the journey,
Yeah.
and therefore we can spread this mission that I started alone
Mm-hmm.
all around the world. In addition to that, I have to highlight something else here as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working in another organization voluntarily, which is a nonprofit
Mm-hmm.
organization, and that's
Mm-hmm.
also online. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, every semester, we
Mm-hmm.
receive about like 1,000 applications. So we started
Mm-hmm.
with having 16 application in the first semester.
Yeah.
And then after some while, when
Mm-hmm.
everybody got aware of the news that there's a nonprofit organization who was supporting Afghan female to
Mm-hmm.
learn a language, as well as that we offer some other classes like drawing,
Mm-hmm.
mathematics, algebra, pre-calculus for college.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Today, like for every semester, we receive about like 1,000 application, and
Mm-hmm.
when I ask the students about their
Mm-hmm.
experience, about their preferences, they say
Mm-hmm.
that we don't want to go outside. There's a lot of
Yeah.
stress, and the way that we commute and other
Mm-hmm.
other things that bothers them. So they prefer to take the online classes. And another
Yeah.
bonus point about these classes is that we have two languages, which
Mm-hmm.
are both important for us, especially for
Mm-hmm.
AfghanSafar and their
Yeah.
followers. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I personally want to make something interesting for them, not just something
Yeah.
formal, but something very engaging
Mm-hmm.
that students won't get bored with, and they can only
Of
play,
course.
and at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, they can understand that yeah, they have learned something.
Yeah, no, 100%, because even for me personally, um, just because of like staying away from home and then staying away from your community, oftentimes there are certain things that I can't either remember or I just don't know the word in Dari for certain things. And when somebody asks me, I'm like, hold on, give me a second. I'm trying to think. But this is going to be a very interesting branched initiative for us, because we are not only giving opportunity for the people who are inside Afghanistan today, but also for people who are outside. Because the Afghan diaspora, for example, most of them who are born or raised in the West today, they struggle speaking in Dari or speaking in Pashto. So we're really hoping that this initiative will give them a chance to polish those skills. And at the same time, I believe whatever help we could receive, this could go towards helping out the women of Afghanistan, people like yourself, uh, creating a safe environment for these young women, or basically for anyone, for all the people from all walks of life. Like, we're not trying to say like, no, these classes are just for women. Like, if the interest is there, then why not? We could introduce it and grow the audience. Like, I'm pretty sure, just like yourself, there might be other colleagues of yours who are also of the same mindset, who are looking to uh, create a difference in the lives of the others. This has been a an amazing conversation, and as much as I would like to continue it, unfortunately, due to time constraints, we said we will keep it between 30 to 50 minutes. I know it's really late for you right now. We do not want to take a lot of your time. But if you want to add something else, if you want to talk about something else, please, by all means, because it's very rare that we get somebody from Afghanistan talking to us.
No, thank you so much, and I hope everyone gets the most benefit of this journey. I mean, you guys are the
Hmm.
first group that wants to highlight the unseen aspect of Afghanistan, and I believe this
Hmm.
project could work very well. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate the kind words, and inshallah, looking forward to our journey together. Before we finish, though, I do have three questions for you. The first question would be, could you tell us about your favorite Afghan food and what's the story behind it? What makes it so special?
Well, although I'm not good with dough foods, we call it
Mm-hmm.
khamiri, but I
Mm-hmm.
prefer aykhana. Uh, the first time that
Uh-huh.
I ate that food was in a family gathering,
Mm-hmm.
and the person who cooked that cooked it very well. And
Okay.
yeah, I prefer that one, but I'm not very well with kabili and other dough foods, but I eat them.
Okay.
Yeah, hardly.
Well, I Khanum, so I don't know what that is, and now I have to start Googling it, or you have to send us a picture of it. And for
Of
all
course.
those who are watching this episode, if you don't know, we will learn together.
Well, a fun
Um,
fact, if you go into history, it's the name of a place in Takhar as well. But I don't know.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, it's a, it's made of carrot and uh,
Mm-hmm.
carrot, meat, vegetables,
Mm-hmm.
and this is
Okay.
the max food for both vegetarians and those who prefer meat. So
Oh,
yeah.
interesting. I will certainly look into it now. Uh, and the second question for you would be, what's your favorite phrase, either in Dari or in Pashto? Could be a poem, could be a phrase, anything that comes to your mind.
If you allow me, I want to mention two things here, two phrases. I mean, one is
Mm-hmm.
a poem and one
Yeah.
is a sentence. I really love the phrase "Herchi pesh amad khosh amad."
Mm-hmm.
Somehow it means that embrace whatever comes on your way. Don't stop.
Wow.
Just go with the flow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, it really helps me not to take something serious because like
Mm-hmm.
everything is temporary. And I'm just
Yeah.
embracing everything. The struggles, the
Mm-hmm.
happinesses, the sorrows, everything.
Yeah.
And this is one that kept me
Mm-hmm.
very motivated, and my mission
Mm-hmm.
was a poem from Sanai saying, ما زنده برانیم که آرام نگیریم، موجیم که آسودگی ما عدم ماست. It means that we're like a wave of a river. If we stop, we will be like a dirty well. We will become a dirty well. So the reason why the river is so clean is because it has waves and it's flowing. It has a stream.
Yeah.
So a person's stream and flowing is they're striving, they're trying,
Yeah.
and the way that that they go forward. That's a person's flowing and stream. Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful, mashallah. Like I love it, and I have to start looking into it more. And the third and the final question would be, if you were to showcase Afghanistan from your perspective to someone and leave a lasting impression, what place would you take them to?
I have been to, I think, several provinces so far. Panjshir, Bamyan, Wardak, Mazar Balkh as well. But the most interesting place to me is Bamyan because of its historical places. I mean, it's too small, a very small province, but if you search about the history of each historical a monument there, you'll get surprised. The Buddha statues.
Yeah.
I mean, there's another place.
The destroyed ones.
Yeah. And there are a lot to see. Yeah, the sightseeings are a lot.
Of course. Okay, Bamyan
like
next on our list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really can't wait because the last time I visited Bamyan was, I think, in 2015 or 2014, if I'm not mistaken, and I just can't wait to come back and go there once more. It's just I miss everything about our country.
And the most advanced people who are pursuing their education very seriously nowadays is Bamyani people, among all the Afghans tribes. Yeah, they have their own businesses.
That's amazing.
Here. Yeah, they're doing like garments, doing carpet business, and they have built up their own businesses. And yeah, they're so creative. I have some students from Bamyan as well that I got struck when I see their motivation and their work and business life.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, this has been truly a fascinating conversation, and we would love to continue this in the future podcasts as well, in the future episodes. For all of you who listened to this one, if you have any questions for or for myself, if you want to support our initiative Dari Safar, to support the Afghan women in the country, please leave us a message or send us an email, comment. You can DM us on Instagram under AfghanSafar Official, or message us on Facebook, AfghanSafar Official. Our videos are on YouTube and Spotify, and our email address is salam@afghansafar.com. Please let us know what you think, and again, we would be having again with us inshallah soon. So if you have any questions, please don't be shy. Just comment them below and like and subscribe so that you guys are kept in the loop. Once again, thank you so much for being with us today, and it was wonderful to have this conversation with you. It's so eye-opening.
Best of luck with your project, and it was a pleasure for me to be your guest tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right, Khudafiz, it was a pleasure.
Allah Hafiz. Have a great day.
Khudafiz, everyone, and the Khuda Paman. Goodbye. I will see you guys soon. Thank you.